Informal supports, family and friends.
So my informal supports were my parents, who my father was phenomenal. He knew just the right amount to hug me and just the right amount of talking about it that I needed to do or not talking. But he also has a very similar character to me. Many nights he just took me for a drive. We didn't say a word, but off we drove. And eventually we would get to this one Tim Hortons. He would get me a hot chocolate and we'd turn back. And by the time we got home, I had unwound a fair bit. My mother was hit or miss. I think she was struggling with this as well. I don't think this only happened to me. My parents were also victimized as well. My mother off and on would be very supportive, and then other times she just needed to know everything because she had to be able to explain why this happened, and I didn't have answers. So not that she was attacking me, but she always needed to know, always prying to know more, and well, why this and why that. My friends, we were on summer break at the time, so I wasn't really close to any of my friends that had been around for that experience. A lot of them talked to me on the phone, but most didn't know what to say, whether it was just we were young and that was something beyond our years, or I don't know, but my friends weren't a big support to me at the time. And then I had my sister, who also very busy in her own life, and although I love her dearly, but she wasn't there for me. She didn't know what to say or what to do, so she just ignored the fact that it happened.
Formal supports, detectives.
The detectives were very supportive. They obviously had experience with this kind of thing before. They just knew the right words, and to be honest, I don't even know what those words are, but they had the right approach. They were sensitive, but to the point. They didn't beat around the bush. They told me the truth, which is what I needed to hear. And they gave me a sense of trust, which was taken away from me. So they were really helpful from that perspective. I mean, I didn't see them very frequently. We found the guy very quickly after having spoken with the detectives to begin with. So they didn't really have a ton of contact with me throughout the entire process. And then once it was, the case was transferred to the court system, although the detective went to the trial, that was 2 years down the road, so I didn't really have contact with them in between. I don't really know that any more contact would have been appreciated either. Because when I wasn't involved in the system, I didn't want to hear from them either. So I think that was just the right amount.
Other formal supports.
It was the lady I worked with from the victim center that came with me to the courtroom, sat me down where I was going to have to sit, and she asked me some questions that the Crown had prepared. Told me it's okay to cry, it's okay to, take your time. This is where he's going to be sitting, this is what you can expect from him. It was those things that really helped me, but I didn't have that relationship with the Crown. Whether that's just the way the system is, that they have this lady to guide that whole process, I'm not sure. But I didn't really have that much interaction with the Crown outside of the courtroom.
Formal counseling.
So formal counseling, I did try many avenues on that topic. Some were helpful, some weren't. Immediately after it happened, my parents took me to, I'm not sure what the name of this system is, but it's for sexual assault victims. But you can only go 4 times. It's for, within 24 hours of it happening. So by the time I built a little bit of trust in this person, I couldn't go there anymore. And then to go sign up to be with them long term, there was a wait list of like 3 or 4 months. So I didn't find that helpful at all. I felt that I just kept having to tell my story over and over and over, and I didn't want to do that. From there, my parents had some coverage through their insurance from work. So they took me to a place there through that company. That lady was very helpful. And she actually, the first meeting, recognized that my mother perhaps needed some counseling too, so helped her as well. And that was wonderful, but I was only at home for the summer. So, a month after we started, I had to move back to the city 2.5 hours away, and that counseling session was over. So I tried again with the same company, but in this new location. And the gentleman that I got assigned to was not comfortable at all with the concept of sexual assault, at all. He kept trying to relate all my problems back to something from my childhood. He said that, no, this isn't your problem, that you must have gone through something else. I need you to open up more. And he was absolutely horrible. I went to one session with him and that was it. And to be honest, after that, I kind of gave up for a while. I wasn't ready to tell my story again. So it wasn't actually until I started speaking with the lady at the courthouse, the victim witness protection, that I started feeling a little more comfortable to try again. So about a year and a half later, I started seeing someone else, and they listened. And they gave me some techniques, some, poems, some stories of other people having gone through this, so I didn't feel so alone. In my circle around me, no one had experienced this before, so it made it challenging because they didn't understand. They knew what it meant, but they couldn't understand the feelings that went along with